Hello right bags, it's Jade Plays Games. Welcome back to another Ark Survival Evolved news video. Today we're going to be taking a look at a brand new article by Newsweek where they had an interview with Jesse Rapsak, one of the lead creators of Ark Survival Evolved and the brand new lead engineer for the game. Or brand new, I think he's brand new. I haven't really seen him mentioned too much. They basically done an interview with Newsweek, and Newsweek has gone on a massive clickbait madness and said they're talking about Ark Survival Evolved 2 or a season pass, another season pass. It's complete rubbish. They're not doing that at all. This Newsweek interviewer has literally just tagged it on himself. So we're going to go into detail because the interview does have some good information about Extinction, and that's what we're really here for. So bear with me, let's go through it all, but I'm putting it out there right now. This interview doesn't have anything to do with the developers saying they are actively working on Ark Survival Evolved 2 or some sort of season pass. It's no secret that obviously Ark is massively successful. There will be some sort of sequel in the future. It really won't be a case of a season pass. I think the game needs more polish, and the way that the engine is run and the way they've implemented things in the past, they would probably want to take it back and work on something brand new in terms of how they implement stuff, rather than just doing the same old stuff, releasing stuff that's already kind of on top of broke. Like, the game is broke still. The game has got massive problems on Ark Survival Evolved. It's not optimised to its 100%, and there is definitely way too many issues every time they update it, and that's probably down to their inexperience when they first started making the game. I can well imagine, give them a year off, give them a good amount of time off, give them something brand new way to implement their engine. I mean, it is the Unreal Engine, but they still have proprietary stuff they put into it, and they still have different ways of working. I could well imagine they could make a much better game in the future than they probably made with just the original game, believe it or not. Anyway, I wanted to put that out there before we go through some of the other details. You know, I've spoken about Ark 2. I've showed you guys that they've spoken about it or it's in their plans. It's nothing brand new either, this news, or this guy, this Newsweek interviewer has tried styling it out that they're talking about future plans. Literally, the word future plans is one sentence saying by the creator that they're gonna be maybe working on something in the future, but that's all it is. There's no mention of any season pass. There's no actual mention of Ark 2 coming, which would be really shitty as well, considering the DLC, the last DLC, has just been delayed and it's not going to be coming for 6 months. To then have developers talking about what Ark 2 and more season passes is a bit stupid. That would be like really stupid of them for PR purposes. So I really hope that's not the case at all. If it comes out next few days, they're going to start mentioning it. They're not. It's a massive leak by this interviewer. You can see it right here. It says that means another season pass, the more free content. No, it doesn't necessarily. It just says that they are very successful. They want to continue to be successful and relevant, and they want to continue producing content for their fans. That doesn't necessarily mean any sort of extra season pass or a sequel just yet. Also going to be showing you guys, after that big lengthy intro, some of the stuff that's gone on with the Community Crunch this week, or in terms of the weekly newsletter as they're calling it now. There are some really good things in this article though, and I'm going to link it. Other than like the clickbait mentioning Ark 2 in the season pass, there are some more details about what to expect from Extinction when it does launch. Now, I'm not going to read it all, but according to the interviewers and Jesse, one of the creators, there's going to be sort of 4 tiers or 4 areas in Extinction that are going to be having difficult levels associated with them, which is pretty much bog standards. You know, when you think about the island map, you've got the north, which is quite hard to settle into. Then you've got like the redwood biome forest, which is quite alive. There's loads of stuff going on in that biome. And then you've got like the southern areas, which are a bit easier. It's exactly the same thing. And just like it is in Aberration, you've got the starting area, which is easy. Then you've got the mid area, which is where you get some unique resources and creatures. And then you've got the hardest area, which is the rock trench. So again, that's nothing really brand new. All maps are sort of divided by that. What is interesting though is talking more about this PvE event, or this horde mode that Ark is going to be implementing. Now this, I ain't gonna lie, was something I kind of forgot about when they revealed the Extinction stuff and we spoke about it. But there was some hints that they are going to be working on some sort of horde based events. So very much like events in things like Destiny, something's going to happen. There's going to be an event calling, a notification, and you'll be able to get there and defend yourself against waves of dinosaurs, and you'll be able to get some rewards. Now this isn't going to be just happening in a mode off the game, it's going to be in the world, it's going to be in certain points. So here's the actual new ways to play section of it there, and And in this interview, they're calling it No Man's Land. I can imagine that will probably change towards the release. They've not really put anything down in Ark for Extinction. They've not even decided on the dinosaur names, which is pretty normal. They didn't decide on most of the dinosaur names for lots of the creatures up until the very release, and then they changed them all. They're actually different from what they were put on as the Explorer Notes or as the Mysterious Mysteries. But in this version of No Man's Land, where this PvE event might happen, you're going to have corrupted dinos with the hive mentality, and it's basically waves of dinosaurs that you have to take down in PvE fashion. So you'll be able to bring all your items, all your stuff, all the normal things you have, but you'll then be given a countdown or timer where you can actually build and set up a little base, a horde defense mode. So very much like Gears of War, and pretty much every game going now is starting to implement it. Call of Duty is going to be doing it, Battlefield's going to be doing it. Actually, I bet take that back. I'm not 100% sure about Call of Duty, but definitely in Battlefield 5, there's some sort of base defense that you're going to be able to put up on certain points. So again, nothing brand new. There will be different difficulties with these creatures that attack you. There's going to be different sort of waves. And as he points out here, it does happen in the world of Ark. So other players may come along and help you, or they might be able to, take you down if it's a PvP server to get the rewards themselves. The article also goes on to try and reassure people that it's not just high tech. One of the biggest complaints about Ark Survival Evolved is a shift towards tech tier. Now, not everyone doesn't like tech, some people really love it, but the Power Ranger suits and the OP nature of some of the stuff that you can get just detracts a lot from what people originally thought Ark would be, which was just purely a dinosaur game. But good to know for people that do like that original side of things. He said there's lots of lore, there's lots of story elements, and even with the creatures and the way that the world is, it's not going to be a case of just being all tech tier. They do confirm that all the creatures and items will be transferable to all maps and partially available for those who purchase Extinction outright. So again, if you don't buy the DLC, you will be able to spawn in the majority of the creatures, just like you can with Scorched Earth and just like you can with Aberration. You don't need to own the DLC. You can actually cheat on your single player world or your private server and spawn in the creatures and most of the items. There is literally only a couple creatures maybe you can't actually spawn in. I go to list on that the 4 titans that we know about now, they're going to have different ways to tame them. So like I said, it's not a case of just wailing on them and destroying them. Something to do with this purple stuff, you're going to have to think of different ways, or there's going to be a different mechanic for taming all 4 of these titans to add to your collection. I go on to talk about the item balloons, which is pretty much nothing much more newer, just that it was a fan feedback request. To be honest, I've never seen that in my life. I've never seen that on the forums. People asking for some sort of Metal Gear Solid balloon that they could take stuff back. Maybe people complaining that they always get overweight quickly. I don't know, but that is definitely something I've not seen. But apparently that's what it is. It's meant to have come from fan feedback. Obviously, the Dino Pokemon thing has been around for a while. In fact, last year, the creator mentioned it in a post and a few tweets when he was adding to the development kit that modders would now be able to do that and it wouldn't be so long and exhaustive. Before then, some people would try doing stuff like that and it'd been just a bit of a pain in the arse to mod it into the game. And obviously, they then saw someone made a Pokemon mod and they implemented it themselves to make it a bit better. They go on to talk about the Enforcer, the brand new creature in the game. You will be able to tame it, but you'll also be able to craft it. So you're going to have to get the individual parts to do it, but it's not 100% guaranteed what way they're going to go. They're still really thinking about whether or not it will be something you tame or craft. And something similar for the Scout. Now the Scout is obviously that drone that you saw. You can control it and it runs around, it does stuff and highlights enemy tribes and areas of the map. That is going to be craftable, but you will get better scouts by crafting better level ones. So you're going to have to go out there, find a scout, take it down, get its parts, and then craft your own. And so in that way, you'll be able to improve your scouts and get loads of different high level ones by going and killing or destroying high level scouts and bringing their parts back to you. I quite like that mechanic. I think that mechanic's pretty cool. One of the biggest things about the cryo chamber, going back onto it, how you can basically shrink your dinosaurs and carry them around with you, is it's going to make trading really interesting. How you can trade dinosaurs. Literally, you could just set up your own shop and have 4 or 5 cryo chambers on a server, and people just come to your store and pick up a dinosaur whenever they want. And that is pretty much it for this article. It does give a little bit of information. It's pretty good, it's pretty decent, but please don't buy into the bullshit that they've announced they're releasing a season pass, or there is definitely going to be an Ark 2. It makes sense that they're going to release an Ark Survival Evolved 2. And actually, just before launch and during launch of the game, they did speak about it in very hushed tones, saying that they would possibly, take a look at that in the future. But it's nothing concrete, and there's nothing actually here from the devs that say they're working on a season pass or working on Ark 2. Basically, don't make rafts. I was going to lead with this. This was going to be my story, which was like, rafts will get you banned, which was ultra clickbait. But look at what you can see here. Intentionally filling the server tame limit via spamming tames or rafts will now be a griefing rule. And if you get caught doing that, there is a chance you could be banned from the servers and banned from playing Ark Survival Evolved. There's also a bunch of other stuff that added to the small tribe servers. Now, the small tribes have been really popular. They've had to open up brand new servers for them. It's got its highest peak player count on Steam for the last sort of 6 months at least. But now they've implemented a bunch of rules, and some of these rules I think are a bit bullshit. So joint raids against one another tribes, including cross-server, is a no-no. Sharing tame breeding lines between tribes is a no-no. Sharing tames between tribes is just no. Moving characters back and forth between multiple tribes. Using non-tribe member bodies to store and transport items. And bringing players from multiple tribes into a boss fight. Do not attempt to circumvent the 6-member limit. I really don't think they've thought about this too much. Like, this takes a lot of monitoring. Like, how are they going to work this out? Are they just going to be relying on people reporting this? No, obviously the whole point of the 6-man tribes is to make it so you're not running against huge alpha tribes, never been able to do things because you're always just getting smacked down by these massive tribes. So I totally get it and I respect it and I want it to continue that way. But some of these rules are going to be really hard to enforce, and it feels just a bit bullshit that they're saying it's a rule. Like, how are they going to enforce this stuff? What are they going to do? Are they going to ask for screenshots from people? How are you going to get screenshots of someone jumping back and forth from tribes? They could just change their name, no? Or change a new character. So, good to see that they want to keep the integrity of the small tribes going. They want to keep it 6 players and don't want it becoming something that people abuse. But I just can't see how they're going to enforce some of these rules. The raft one is something that's been there, should have been there a long time ago. In fact, instead of having rules, why don't they just bloody make a mechanic that stops you making so many rafts? Why don't they make it that after 3 rafts, the last raft you made gets destroyed? They can do that. There is definitely ways they can put that code into the game. So that would be a simpler solution, rather than making rules that they then have to spend money and time enforcing afterwards. Other than that, there's not much going on. They just recap what happened in last week's community crunch, which I gave you loads of information about the new tames, or the Titan tames, how there's going to be 4 of them. There's a bits on the mod stuff, and I took a look at the creator of the skins, the Extinction Chronicle skins, the brand new ones, which was a modder that made that. It wasn't actually someone that even worked for the game. There is some server maintenance apparently on Xbox and PS4 servers this week as well. And that is pretty much it for the Ark news. So I hope that's cleared a few things up. Don't get too hype and excited about Ark 2. It's not going to be happening now. It won't be happening this year. If they announce any plans for anything like that in the immediate future, they really will be shitting on people waiting for this last piece of DLC. Let me know what you think about that. Let me know what you think about the possibilities. Would you prefer Ark in the future, when they're ready, to do more season passes? Or do you think it needs a brand new game? I personally do think it needs a new game. I think they would be able to fix and work on so much more if it's all brand new, rather than just trying to put in more content that just frequently is broke whenever they implement it. And what do you think about the new details about the PvE Horde mode? Are you down for that? Is that going to be exciting? It pretty much is the boss wars, which I spoke about last time as well. I am Jade Plays Games. For all the latest information on Ark Survival Evolved, make sure you've got notifications turned on. Make sure you've joined my Discord if you want to hear the latest and greatest stuff going on. We've got loads of channels, and of course you will get loads of information coming from all sorts of ways in Ark Survival Evolved. Until then, rat bags, I will see you later. Don't forget to like, make sure you've got notifications turned on, and I'll see you later.